Hello, welcome to CivilNet. My guest today is Armenian Olympian Arman Serebrakian, who has just returned back to Armenia from the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics. Arman, welcome to CivilNet.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
It's our pleasure. We spoke a few weeks before you left for Sochi, as you were preparing, I think, mentally and physically to take part in a couple of categories at the Winter Olympics, slalom and giant slalom. And we were following you from Yerevan, and I'm sure from all over the world, as you did your races. And the last one, which was the slalom, you placed 34th. That's,
yes.
I mean, for me, I don't know, I think that's really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with the slalom. Actually, overall, with both my events, I was pretty happy, especially considering my starting position, which was in the 90s for slalom and in the 80s.
What is that? How does that change things?
So your start position is all based on your world ranking at the time of the race. And pretty much the further back you start, the worse the conditions are, the harder it is to perform well, usually. And that was pretty much the case at Sochi too. And yeah, I was happy. I made a big mistake in the slalom on my second run. It was a really tough course. I don't know if you watched, but overall, I'm still pretty happy, and yeah, it went well.
You know, for us watching Olympics, whether it's Summer Olympics or Winter Olympics, and you watch the opening ceremonies, and they're so lavish and grand, and so it's almost unifying, because at that moment you kind of forget everything, and it's all about the connections, the networks, the humanity behind the sport, right? The goodwill and intentions. How was it to be there at the opening ceremonies? And then we'll go.
I mean, I think what you just said, I think that's the best part of the Olympic Games, is it brings together everyone from all parts of the world in the name of sport. And that's the one common thing, no matter what part of the world we're from, no matter what nation we're from, no matter what relationship the nations have, etc. We're all there to perform in athletics and to try to do well in those sports. But yeah, the opening ceremony was amazing. It was definitely something I was very much looking forward to beforehand, and it lived up to all my expectations and my dreams. And it was definitely one of the highlights, especially walking out during the athletes' parade, like when we first come out and see the crowd and everything. And the really cool part was that there were a lot of Armenian flags in the crowd.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that was awesome. I
bet. What a inspiration it was for you, I'm sure. You were the flag bearer for the closing ceremonies.
I was.
That's a pretty decent honor, huh?
That was a tremendous honor. I found out actually during my slalom race, which was the night before the closing ceremonies. And I kind of sat down by myself. I separated myself and kind of tried to take it all in, because I didn't expect it at all. And when it happened, when I heard that that's what was going to happen, I was tremendously honored to do it, and I was happy to do it.
A dream come true, because I remember when we were talking last time you were here, how being part of the Olympic tradition, being an athlete and representing your country was a dream that you had kept close to your heart all these years, and it did come true. And it's difficult to process, I'm sure.
Yeah, it still hasn't completely sunk in, I'm not going to lie, but because I've just been so busy since the games ended too. But when I look back at it, when I have time to kind of look back at the last 2 weeks, it's amazing what happened, and it was a great honor to be there, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I think that when you go back to your normal life, whatever that is, which means going back and taking part in some more races and then getting ready to sort of dive back into medical school, I think then it'll probably hit you more as you go. Just one thing, I mean, that I wanted to talk to you about also is that, you know, just up to the opening of the games, there was so much talk on social media, in the news, about the conditions, about the facilities. Was it all hype, or did you experience some of that as well?
I've been asked this a few times, actually. I personally didn't experience any of that. I don't think many of the athletes did. We were in our villages and everything was built, and there was some little things that you would notice, like with the construction of the buildings maybe, but no, overall we had a good experience with our rooms, the food, everything was good. My family came, and they actually didn't experience any trouble at all, but I know that some of the media that came had some issues with their rooms.
That's fine. I think it was more hype than anything else. It was America versus Russia and all of that. A little bit. Sort of remnants of the Cold War taking place. Arman, you returned back to Armenia and you dived back into yet another race to take part in the first ever Pan-Armenian Winter Games that are taking place in Zalgatsor. How was that? I mean, coming from that huge venue.
I mean, it was, first of all, I knew about it beforehand. Before even going to Sochi, I knew I was coming here for Pan-Armenian Games, especially since it's the first ever Winter Games. I really wanted to come and participate and ski with the fellow Armenian athletes and especially the younger guys. So that was great. I definitely did not get to rest at all or anything. I was going. I think
you arrived that morning of the opening?
Of the opening ceremonies. I had like 3 hours of sleep the last 2 nights. And then, the opening ceremonies were great in Takhador. I got to take the athlete's oath. So that was really cool. And then, then we started competing right away the last 2 days after that.
And how was that?
It was good. I ended up
tough competitors?
There were some good competitors. There was a team from Georgia here. They had some good athletes, and the kids from Takhador are all pretty competitive.
Oh, I bet, because it's right there, the mountain.
Yeah, and it's their home hill, and it's good. But yeah, there's a lot of differences between the Sochi courses and the ones here, with the snow conditions and the length of the course and how they set the courses. It's all different. And I had been training, for Sochi for so long that coming here it definitely took some getting used to again.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was still good, and they put on a great event, and it's still going on.
Still going on, that's
more
right.
Events. So.
Well, Arman, and we have this scarf here that you brought, Armenia ski team from Sochi 2014.
Yep.
Very cool.
It's for CivilNet on behalf of us. Yeah.
Yeah, we will hang it up somewhere of honor for sure.
Awesome.
And a final question, Arman. I know that, as I said, you're going to be heading back to your hometown and getting back to some kind of a routine after, I think, an exciting past 2 years as you got ready. What advice would you give to aspiring Armenian athletes who have the same dream?
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this too, not just for my own goals and not just for my family or friends or anything like that, but for this exact reason, so that younger athletes, specifically Armenians, but athletes all over the world who come across my story will hopefully see it as kind of an inspiration and maybe will come to me for advice, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the most important thing is, if you have a dream, go for it. There's going to be people that say you can't do it. There's going to be things in your way. Like for me, a big issue was money, raising enough money. And a lot of people said that it was too much for me to do by myself, etc. But if you try hard, if you do it the right way, and show people that you care, things will come into place and you'll reach it.
So the message here is have a dream and do it the right way.
Yeah, pretty
plan.
Much.
Because hope is not a plan, right?
You need to have a plan.
Well, Arman, I really want to thank you for coming here before you left, and you promised to come back, and you did. Thank you for giving us a little bit of excitement as we watched you take part in your races, and you made all of us very proud.
Thank you.
So good luck with all of your future dreams and plans and endeavors.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I want to remind our viewers that my guest was Armenian Olympian Arman Serebrakian. Stay with CivilNet.